Welcome to The Explainer. At the 2026 World Economic Forum in Davos, the world's leaders got together to talk about unity. But you know what? The real story was something else entirely. It was about division and a dramatic rewriting of the rules of global power.
So the official theme this year was a spirit of dialogue. Sounds nice, right? But what was actually happening on the ground? Well, it felt a lot more like a series of monologues. It was all defined by these sharp tensions and some really high-stakes power plays that show just how fractured our world has become.
And this paradox, it's more than just a catchy theme for a conference. It's a perfect snapshot of a huge shift in global politics. What we're witnessing isn't a world coming together. No, it's a world that's splintering into these competing and often clashing visions.
I mean, the entire week's conversation was pretty much hijacked by President Trump. His actions, everything from threatening tariffs over Greenland to his bigger foreign policy moves, created this real, you could feel it, sense of anxiety among America's traditional allies. It just sucked all the air out of the room.
And this quote, wow, it just perfectly sums up his U.S. first worldview. See, this isn't just about economics. It's a declaration that the U.S. sets the terms, period. And that's a direct challenge to the whole idea of a cooperative global system that Davos was literally built to support.
But here's the thing, that vision didn't go unanswered. Not at all. In fact, the tensions at Davos actually sparked two really powerful counter-narratives, showing that other nations are just not content to follow along anymore.
First up, you had China. They stepped forward with a really bold alternative. Led by Vice Premier He Feng, they started talking about genuine multilateralism, and they backed it up by building new partnerships in new financial systems, all designed to work outside of U.S. influence.
And second, something called a new realism started to take hold among other nations, and it was captured perfectly by Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney. His message was basically a wake-up call. In this new world, you either step up and assert your own power, or you're going to become a pawn in someone else's game.
So, the crucial point here is that these countries aren't just sitting back and reacting anymore. They are actively writing a whole new playbook for how to not just survive, but actually thrive in a world caught between these two giants.
Okay, so this leads us to a really fascinating new strategy for how to navigate this fractured world. It's a world where being in the middle ground isn't a sign of weakness anymore. Actually, it's becoming a position of strength.
This new era has created what analysts are calling technological swing states. Think about countries like South Korea, with its incredible semiconductor industry. They can use their tech know-how to play the field between the US and China without having to fully commit to either side. It's a whole new game. Now this is where it gets really clever. A key strategy for these swing states is to take the very complexity of AI and turn it into a political tool. See, because a lot of AI is a black box, it's hard to explain how it works, the power shifts. It moves away from the people who create the tech and towards the people who can certify it as trustworthy. And that creates a whole new kind of influence.
And this allows them to try out all these different strategies. You've got South Korea, which is masterfully delaying and hedging its bets in the global chip wars. Then you've got a place like Singapore, which is becoming this trusted digital hub by aligning with everybody on different issues. And then there's India, which is shaping the global rules of the game by acting as a bridge between different political groups.
So where does this all lead? It points to a future where global competition isn't just about who has the biggest army, but about who achieves dominance in the wild, fast-moving world of artificial intelligence.
And you heard this from the tech leaders at Davos too. People like NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang were really emphasizing that AI has the potential to either blow up the gap between nations or actually close it, depending entirely on how we develop and use it.
And Microsoft's Satya Nadella was right there with him. He argued that we as a global community have to move beyond all the abstract hype. The focus has to be on how we can use this unbelievably powerful technology to solve actual real-world problems for people.
Look, if you want to understand our world today, you have to get your head around the incredibly complex dance between technology and geopolitics. They're not separate subjects anymore. They are two sides of the very same coin.
So the whole summit didn't end with some neat, tidy solution. Instead, it closed with this philosophical thought from BlackRock's CEO Larry Fink. And his words just perfectly captured the deep uncertainty of a world that's changing under our feet.
Which leaves us with one final question to chew on. In this new era of intense power politics and mind-bending technological disruption, is being an optimist a sound strategy? Or is it just a really risky gamble? The answer to that is going to shape the future for all of us.